The thunder hit so hard that the windows shook. Rain poured like the sky was breaking apart. Streetlights flickered once, twice, and then died, leaving the coastal town in complete darkness. Inside the control room of the power station, Raj grabbed his flashlight and ran out into the storm. The phone lines were dead, and the backup generator had failed. Something was wrong, very wrong. Raj had worked as a maintenance supervisor for 7 years. He had seen storms worse than this one, but tonight felt different. The air was too heavy, charged with something beyond just electricity. As he drove his small truck toward the old substation by the cliffs, lightning flashed across the ocean. For a split second, he thought he saw a figure standing on the tower, tall, still, glowing faintly. He blinked, and it was gone. The wind screamed through the broken gate when he reached the substation. The place looked like a war zone. Metal panels hung loose, the ground was soaked, and the control cabin door was half open. He stepped inside, his flashlight cutting through the darkness. The hum of the transformers was gone, replaced by an eerie silence. Then he heard a soft clicking sound, like metal tapping metal. "Hello?" He called out. "Is someone here?" A faint voice answered, "Stay back." Raj froze. His light found her standing barefoot among live cables that should have been carrying thousands of volts. Her dark hair clung to her face and sparks danced around her feet, but she didn't flinch. She was wearing a work uniform, a blue jumpsuit with a patch that said Lena Electrician. But her tools were strange. Sleek silver devices that didn't look like anything from the power company. What are you doing?" Raj shouted over the storm. "You'll get yourself killed." She turned slowly toward him. Her eyes reflected the beam of his flashlight like mirrors. "I'm trying to stop it," she said calmly. "But you shouldn't be here." Before Raj could ask what she meant, a sudden explosion rocked the room. A breaker box on the wall burst open, sending arcs of white light across the cabin. Raj threw up his arms, expecting to be burned, but something else happened. Lena moved faster than he could see. She stepped in front of him, her arms wide. The lightning struck her instead, and then curved away, bending like it had hit invisible glass. The air smelled like ozone and metal. The light surrounded them both, then vanished as suddenly as it came. Raj stumbled back, gasping. How did you not hear?" she said sharply. Her voice trembled for the first time. "They'll find us," before Raj could speak again. She grabbed a coil of wire from the floor and wrapped it around a steel beam. The ground vibrated as if something below them had started to wake. A low hum grew louder. "Who'll find us?" Raj demanded. "What are you talking about?" Lena looked toward the door, her face pale in the flickering light. "You wouldn't believe me if I told you." The hum became a roar. Sparks shot out from the transformers. Raj reached for her, but she stepped back, eyes glowing faintly silver now. "I'm sorry," she whispered. "I didn't mean for you to see." And then she was gone. The storm howled through the doorway. Raj ran outside, scanning the yard with his flashlight. There was no sign of her, no footprints, no movement, nothing but rain hammering the mud. He shouted her name, but the only answer was thunder. When he turned back toward the cabin, something caught his eye. Her uniform jacket lay on the floor near the door, still warm to the touch. Inside its pocket was a small, smooth object, about the size of a stone, but glowing faintly from within. It made a low humming sound that seemed to sync with his heartbeat. Raj held it up to the light. The glow pulsed brighter, and strange symbols appeared on its surface, shapes that shifted like they were alive. He felt a sharp jolt of warmth travel up his arm. The lights in the substation flickered once, then steadied for the first time that night. He dropped the object in shock. It didn't fall, it hovered an inch above the floor, spinning slowly. Then, as he stared in disbelief, it dimmed and fell silent. Raj picked it up again, hands trembling. "What the hell is this?" he whispered. Outside, the wind began to die down. The storm was passing, but the air still crackled with strange energy. Raj looked at the dark sky and thought he saw a faint streak of blue light, moving away over the ocean too fast, too straight to be lightning. He turned back toward the station and sat down on the steps, clutching the glowing device. The rain washed over him, but he didn't feel it. His heart pounded as a realization formed in his mind. Whoever or whatever Lena was, She wasn't an ordinary electrician. As the first hint of dawn touched the horizon, Raj heard the faintest echo of her voice, carried on the wind. "Don't tell them you saw me." And then, silence. Raj looked down at the device again. It gave a single pulse of blue light, like a heartbeat once, twice, and then stopped. He was alone in the storm's fading light, holding a secret that no one would ever believe. Cliffhanger. The humming device in Raj's hand flickered once more, projecting a map of light into the air. Its center point marked at the old lighthouse, cut off from the town by floodwater. Raj couldn't sleep that night. The storm had passed, but his thoughts were louder than thunder. The strange object lay on his table, still glowing faintly under the flicker of his old bulb. Every time he touched it, it warmed up, like it was alive. He had tried wrapping it in cloth, putting it in a drawer, even leaving it on the windowsill, but no matter what he did, the humming sound returned, soft but steady, like a heartbeat. Raj stared at it, his chest tight. "Who are you, Lena?" he whispered. "What did you leave behind?" When he tilted the device, it projected a faint light above its surface, a floating map, shimmering in blue. Lines shifted and moved until one point blinked red. He squinted. The coordinates looked familiar. He checked the old map of the town on his wall and froze. The point was marked at the abandoned lighthouse miles off the main coast, surrounded by floodwater since the last storm. Raj rubbed his face. "Why there?" he muttered. He heard his mother's voice from the next room. "You're awake again, Beta? It's past midnight." "Yeah," Raj said softly. "Power issues at work." His mother shuffled closer, her old shawl wrapped tight. Her wrinkled face looked worried. "These nights are bad for the sea," she said. "Your father used to say the water carries memories." She looked at the device on the table. "What's that?" Raj covered it quickly. "Just equipment." But his mother kept staring, eyes distant. "You remember when you were small, during that big flood you almost drowned?" Raj blinked. "I don't remember much, just someone pulled me out." She nodded slowly. "Yes, a woman. Nobody knew where she came from. The police said no one could survive that storm, yet she did. When they found you, you were holding a shining stone. I thought maybe it was from her." Raj's breath caught. "What happened to it?" "I threw it into the river," she said quietly. "It hummed all night. I was afraid." Raj looked at the object again. The hum seemed to grow louder, like it knew they were talking about it. That night, he couldn't take it anymore. He packed a flashlight, a raincoat, and the device, then drove toward the coast. The road was empty, shining with leftover rain. He parked near the broken bridge leading to the lighthouse. The causeway was half underwater, waves slapping the old stones. Lightning flashed far away, lighting up the tower in the distance. The lighthouse looked abandoned, yet a faint light flickered at the top, too steady to be lightning, too cold to be fire. He took a deep breath and started walking. The wind carried salt and silence. The device in his pocket pulsed softly, as if guiding him. Halfway there, he stopped. Someone was standing on the rocks ahead, barefoot, wearing the same blue jumpsuit he had seen vanish into thin air. Lena. She turned slowly, her face pale in the moonlight. The rain had stopped, but drops of water slid off her hair without soaking her clothes. Her skin shimmered faintly, like metal under flesh. "You came," she said. Raj stared. "You disappeared. I thought you were gone." She smiled faintly. "I was never gone. Just between frequencies." He frowned. "What are you?" "I told you not to follow," she said softly. "But you did. That means the device accepted you." Raj took it out. "This thing. What is it?" "It's a link," she said, "between what you call energy and what I call home." She stepped closer. "It listens to the grid. Every wire, every signal, every pulse." Raj looked around. "You work with the power lines? You said you were fixing something." "Yes," Lena said, her voice low. "Something below. Something older than your station." The waves crashed harder against the rocks. Raj noticed faint blue shapes glowing under the water, moving in circles around the lighthouse base. They weren't fish, too bright, too mechanical. "What are those?" Lena's eyes followed them. "Drones. They're looking for me. Or for this." She nodded at the device. "They're not from my people." Raj felt a chill crawl up his spine. "Your people?" She didn't answer. Instead, she placed her hand over his. The device pulsed stronger, projecting light symbols that danced across their faces. The lines formed an image: underground tunnels, old cable systems, and something buried deep beneath the lighthouse. "You have to help me reach it," she said. "It's failing, and if it breaks completely, your town will burn from the inside out. Power lines, homes, everything." Raj stepped back. "You're saying this thing is connected to the town's grid?" "Yes," she whispered. "But not just that. It's alive." The words sank in like cold water. Raj remembered the way the lightning had bent around her, how she'd seemed to command it. He looked at her again. She didn't look human anymore. Her eyes glowed faintly silver, and thin lines ran down her arms, almost like circuits under skin. "Who are you really?" he asked. "I was made," she said simply. "Made to protect, to repair, to survive." Raj tried to speak, but something in the distance caught his eye. A red flash from the shore. A drone, hovering low, scanning the waves. Then another, closer. "They found us," Lena said. Her voice grew urgent. "Get down." The air crackled as one of the blue shapes shot out from the sea, rising like a ghost through the mist. Raj covered his head as it fired a beam of white light toward them, but before it could strike, Lena raised her hand. The beam bent in midair, splitting apart like shattered glass. The sea glowed electric blue. Reflecting in her eyes, Raj stared, his breath stuck in his throat. "Lena, they're machines. So am I," she said quietly. "But I remember being human once." Before Raj could ask more, the ground shook beneath them. The old lighthouse door creaked open on its own, revealing darkness below. The device in Raj's hand buzzed violently, and the light map reappeared, this time pulsing faster, leading straight down into the earth. "Come with me," Lena said. "If we don't reach the core before dawn, there won't be a sunrise left to see." Raj looked back at the waves, glowing blue like liquid stars. Then he looked at her, half human, half something else, and stepped into the dark after her. Cliffhanger. The drones followed, their lights vanishing one by one into the black tunnel beneath the lighthouse. The air inside the tunnel felt thick and cold, carrying the smell of rust and sea salt. Raj's footsteps echoed as he followed Lena down the narrow path, his flashlight beam slicing through the dark. The walls were covered with cables, old, heavy ones running deep into the ground. Some still glowed faintly blue, as if alive. "This isn't part of the grid," Raj said quietly. "These lines, they're ancient. They were here before your stations," Lena replied, her voice calm but distant. "Before you even had towns along this coast." Raj frowned. "You mean before humans?" She didn't answer right away. Instead, she touched one of the glowing cables. The light responded to her fingers, spreading outward in soft waves. "I was told these tunnels were built by engineers," she said finally. "But I don't know which kind." Raj watched her closely. Her face looked human, but the faint silver lines under her skin pulsed with each flicker of light. "You said you were made," he said. "Made by who?" Lena stopped walking. The tunnel opened into a wide chamber filled with strange machines, some humming softly, others half buried in mud. Giant coils and metal spheres hung from the ceiling, connected by glowing veins of light. She turned toward him, her eyes reflecting the pale blue glow. "I don't remember," she said softly. "When I woke up here, I had a purpose: to protect this grid, to repair what breaks. But the memories before that are locked." Raj took a slow breath. "Locked how?" She stepped closer, and he could see the faint shimmer of circuitry across her collarbone. "There's something inside me," she whispered. "A memory lock. Whoever made me erased the beginning. I know what I am supposed to do, but not who I was." The air grew warmer as the machines around them powered up, reacting to her presence. Raj looked around in awe. "So all this, you control it?" "No," she said quickly. "It recognizes me." "That's different." Suddenly, a faint noise echoed down the tunnel behind them, a splash, a metal clang, and then footsteps. Raj stiffened. "Did you hear that?" Lena nodded. "They followed us." The sound grew louder. Raj turned off his flashlight, plunging them into near darkness. Only the cable's faint glow lit their faces. 3 red dots appeared down the tunnel, scanning lights. "Drones." Lena grabbed Raj's hand and pulled him behind a pillar. "Stay quiet," she whispered. The drones hovered into the chamber, humming softly like giant insects. Their lights swept over the machines, scanning, searching. Raj's heart hammered so loud he was sure they could hear it. One of the drones stopped near their hiding spot, its light pausing on the floor. Then, from behind the machines, came another sound: footsteps. Human this time. A figure stepped into the light, wearing a soaked raincoat and carrying a glowing device that pulsed red. Raj recognized him instantly. Reef, a rival contractor from the company. What is he doing here? Raj whispered. Lina's eyes narrowed. He's the one who's been tracking me. Reef raised the device in his hand, and the drones turned toward him. Found you, he said, grinning. My clients will pay double when they see you alive. Lina stepped out from behind the pillar. You don't know what you're touching, Reef. That beacon is connected to the core. You'll destroy this whole grid. Reef laughed. You sound human when you beg. He motioned to the drones. Take her. The drones moved in, emitting beams of blue light. Raj grabbed a broken metal rod from the floor and swung at one, knocking it aside. Sparks flew. The others advanced, their lights blinding. Lina stepped forward, raised her hand, and the air trembled. The drones froze midair, shaking as if caught in invisible wind. Blue light spread from her fingers, crawling across their bodies like veins of fire. In seconds, they melted into pools of shining metal, silent and dead. Reef stumbled back, terrified. What are you? He whispered. Lina's voice was calm but cold. The thing that keeps your lights on. Raj could feel the air vibrating around her. Power seemed to pour from her skin like heat. She looked almost translucent, her silver lines glowing brighter with each breath. Reef turned and ran. They'll come for you, he shouted. You can't hide forever. When he was gone, the tunnel went quiet except for the steady hum of the machines. Raj looked at her, still catching his breath. You let him go? He asked. He's not the threat, she said. The real danger is what he told them. Now they know where the access point is. Raj followed her gaze. In the center of the chamber, half covered by mud, stood a round hatch with strange symbols carved into it, the same shapes he had seen glowing on the device. What's under there? He asked. The source, she said. It's what connects the grid to the Earth. If it fails, the energy will flood upward and burn everything. Raj ran a hand through his wet hair. Then we fix it. Lina smiled faintly. You sound like me. He shrugged. Maybe that's why I'm here. She turned to him, studying his face. You shouldn't be. Humans can't stay down here long. The current will start to change you. What do you mean change? Raj asked, uneasy. She reached out and touched his hand. The moment her skin met his, a faint spark jumped between them, not painful, but strange, alive. For a moment, Raj saw flashes in his head, images of machines under ice, people working in blinding white light, and a woman's voice saying, "Protect the fault." He gasped and pulled back. What was that? An echo, she said softly. From before, they stood in silence for a long moment. Then a deep rumble shook the floor beneath them. The cables began to pulse faster, and the lights in the chamber flared. Lina's eyes widened. It's waking up. Someone triggered the safety core. Raj stepped closer to the hatch. Then we better get inside before it destroys itself. Lina nodded, her silver eyes reflecting the rising light. Then hold on, she whispered. What happens next might not feel human. She pressed her hand to the hatch. The symbols lit up, spinning like gears. The metal split open, revealing a stairway descending into glowing blue mist. Raj hesitated only for a second, then followed her down into the light. Cliffhanger, as the hatch closed above them. A new voice echoed through the tunnel, mechanical, cold, and unmistakably human. Unauthorized access detected. Begin containment. Asterisk. The air in the lower tunnel shimmered with heat and static. Raj and Lina descended the spiral stairs, their shadows twisting in the flickering blue light below. The deeper they went, the louder the hum became, a living sound that pressed against Raj's chest like a heartbeat inside. The Earth. When they reached the bottom, the space opened into a wide chamber carved from stone and steel. Huge cables ran through the walls like veins, glowing softly as though carrying blood made of light. In the center stood a massive machine, half buried in rock, its surface marked by rust and symbols that no human language could explain. This is the fault line, Lina said quietly. The core lies beneath it. It's what feeds the grid. Raj turned slowly, taking in the room. It looks alive. It is, she said. In its own way. It grows, it listens. But now it's sick. Raj crouched near a cracked conduit where sparks hissed and smoke curled upward. Can it be fixed? Lena knelt beside him. Her hand hovered over the exposed cables, and the sparks calmed as if soothed by her presence. Yes, but the damage is spreading. Someone wants it to fail. Raj frowned. You mean sabotage? Before she could answer, a metallic echo rang from the tunnel behind them. Footsteps. Slow and deliberate. Raj froze, then glanced at Lena. Her eyes narrowed, glowing faintly silver in the dim light. Stay here, she said. She moved silently toward the tunnel entrance, her steps as light as air. Raj followed a few feet behind, gripping a steel rod he'd picked up from the floor. A shadow appeared at the top of the steps, a man in a long, wet raincoat, carrying a short, glowing baton. When the light struck his face, Raj's stomach dropped. Reef, the rival contractor, smiled. But it wasn't a friendly smile. You've got yourself into quite a mess, Raj. Raj stepped forward. You followed us here. Of course I did, Reef said. You think you're the only one who noticed the power failures. There's money buried under this coast. Asterisk. Technology. Energy that no one understands. And she, he pointed the baton at Lena, is the key to it. Lena stood still, her expression unreadable. You don't know what you're touching, Reef. The grid isn't just wires and metal, it's connected to something living. If you damage it, Reef laughed, the sound sharp and hollow. Spare me the science fiction. My buyers don't care how it works. They just want her alive. Raj clenched the rod tighter. You're insane. She's not a machine to sell. Arif's smile faded. Then stay out of my way. He swung the baton, sending a blue arc crackling through the air. Raj barely ducked as it slammed into a metal beam, leaving a burn mark. The smell of ozone filled the chamber. Lena stepped forward calmly. You can't hurt me with that, Reef sneered. Let's find out. He swung again, but this time Lena caught the baton mid-strike. The glow pulsed between her fingers, bending, twisting, and then the weapon melted into a liquid shimmer, dripping from her hand like molten glass. Reef stumbled back, eyes wide. What are you? Lena's voice was low but steady, a reminder of what your kind Biltan forgot. Before he could reply, a deep rumble shook the ground. Dust rained from the ceiling. The floor vibrated beneath their feet as one of the massive cables snapped, sending sparks across the room. Water began seeping through cracks in the wall, dark and cold. Raj looked up in alarm. The tunnel's flooding. Lena turned sharply toward the far wall. There's another way out below. She ran to a control pillar and pressed her hand against it. The metal shimmered under her touch, and a section of the floor slid open, revealing a shaft that glowed with faint golden light. Inside, a ladder made not of metal, but of pure, solid energy descended into darkness. Raj hesitated. You expect me to climb that? Do you want to drown? She shot back, her voice almost human again. Raj didn't argue. He slung the steel rod over his shoulder and climbed down, feeling warmth under his palms instead of cold. The rungs pulsed gently, like a living thing helping him. Lena followed, sealing the hatch above them with a sweep of her hand. The last sound they heard before the tunnel closed was the rush of floodwater crashing through, where they had stood moments before. When they reached the bottom, the space looked nothing like the tunnels above. The walls here were smooth and white, curved as though grown instead of built. Soft lights drifted in the air, floating like jellyfish. Raj turned slowly in awe. What is this place? The heart of the grid, Lena said. It's not man-made. It's older, much older. The people who found it built your systems on top of it, but they never learned what it truly was. Raj stepped closer to a tall crystal-like column pulsing softly. And you're part of it? She hesitated. I was created using its design, but I don't belong to it entirely. That's why they called me a hybrid. He studied her face. You look human enough to me. Lena smiled faintly. That's the idea. Before Raj could reply, the lights in the chamber dimmed, replaced by red flashes. A low mechanical voice echoed through the air. Containment breach. System override detected. Lena's expression hardened. He must have triggered the failsafe. He knows how to call them. Call who? Raj asked. But before she could answer, a panel in the wall slid open. Figures emerged tall, mechanical silhouettes with glowing red eyes and arms shaped like tools. They moved with eerie precision, their footsteps perfectly in sync. Raj's heart raced. "Those aren't drones." "No," Lena said. "They're wardens. They protect the core. But now, they think we're the threat." She grabbed Raj's arm. "Run." They sprinted down a glowing corridor as the wardens gave chase, their metal steps pounding like drums. Sparks burst overhead as one fired a bolt of light that grazed Raj's shoulder, leaving a searing mark. He stumbled, but Lena pulled him forward. "Don't stop." They reached the end of the corridor where a circular door waited. Symbols glowed across its surface, shifting like numbers in motion. "How do we open it?" Raj gasped. Lena placed both hands on the door. "With what's left of my memory." Her eyes glowed white. The symbols rearranged themselves rapidly, then froze. The door slid open with a rush of air. They stepped through just as the wardens reached the threshold. The door sealed shut behind them. Raj bent over, gasping for breath. That was too close. Lena's glow dimmed as she leaned against the wall. "It's only beginning," she said quietly. "Reef isn't done. He'll try again, and next time, he won't come alone." Cliffhanger, as Raj turned toward her. The lights in the new chamber flared, revealing a massive control pillar pulsing like a heart. Above it, words appeared in floating red letters. "Core countdown initiated. 2 hours until vent." Asterisk. The red light pulsed across the walls like a heartbeat in panic. The deep hum of the grid had turned into a violent rhythm, vibrating through Raj's bones. The words above the control pillar blinked again. "Core countdown. 1 hour 59 minutes and 58 seconds. Raj stared in disbelief. "What does that mean?" "Vent what?" Lena's voice was calm but tight. "A pressure release. If it triggers, the system will vent all the stored energy from below the crust straight into the surface." Raj frowned. "You mean it'll explode?" She shook her head slowly. "No, worse, it'll cook everything above it, buildings, homes, people. It'll look like the earth itself turned against you." Raj felt his throat go dry. "How do we stop it?" Lena's silver eyes flickered as she scanned the symbols flashing across the pillar. "We can't stop it, but we can reroute it if I can bridge the broken connection between the cores." "Bridge it how?" She turned toward him, her face pale under the red glow. "The main conductor is dead. It needs a living current, something that can translate thought into energy." Raj blinked. "You mean someone?" "Yes." She looked at him quietly. "You." He took a step back. "Wait, no. I fix machines. I don't become one." "You already are connected," she said. "The device accepted you. When you touched it, your nervous system synced with the grid. That's why you could see the symbols, why the lights follow your pulse." Raj glanced at his hands. Faint blue lines ran under his skin, pulsing with every heartbeat. He hadn't noticed them until now. "What if it kills me?" he asked. Lena met his eyes. "If we do nothing, everyone dies. This way, you might live." He swallowed hard, staring at the massive control pillar. "What do I have to do?" Lena reached into her suit and pulled out the same small device he had found days ago, the humming stone that had started everything. She pressed a small note on it, and it unfolded like petals of light, thin metallic threads emerging and waving softly like living wires. "These will bind to you," she said. "They'll use your neural signals to carry the current." Raj forced a shaky laugh. "You make it sound simple." "It's not," she said. "It will hurt." He nodded, jaw tight. "Then let's do it." Lena's expression softened, almost human. "You're braver than most of my kind ever were." Raj sat on the ground, leaning against the base of the pillar. The hum around him seemed to slow, as if the system itself was listening. Lena knelt beside him and pressed the glowing threads onto his arm. They sank into his skin like veins of light. Raj gasped as a shock rushed through him, sharp, bright, endless. For a moment, he felt everything, the electric current running through the earth, the pulse of the grid, the storm far above the surface. He could hear it all, as if the world had become one enormous heartbeat. Lena placed her hand on his chest. "Breathe with it. Feel the rhythm. You're part of it now." He closed his eyes and focused. The pain began to fade, replaced by something else, a connection, a clarity. He could see the flow of energy like rivers through his mind. "I can see it," he whispered. "The fault line. It's broken in 3 places. Guide me, Lena said. Show me where to splice. He raised his hand, and the threads from the device pulsed brighter, sending a beam of light across the chamber to the nearest broken conduit. Lena followed, moving like lightning herself, pressing her palms to the shattered core. The air filled with a low, harmonic sound, as if the grid were singing. Raj could feel Lena through the connection, her heartbeat, her focus, her pain. She was forcing her own energy into the system, and it was draining her fast. Almost there, he said, teeth clenched. 2 more, but before they could finish, a shadow moved behind them. A slow clap echoed through the chamber. Reef stepped out of the darkness, his face lit by the red glow of the countdown timer. He wasn't alone. 2 men in dark suits followed him, carrying a cage that hummed with static energy. I told you, Raj, Reef said, grinning. She's worth more than gold. And now, you've charged her up for me. Lena turned sharply. Don't touch that device. You'll destabilize the grid. Reef laughed. You think I care about your science? The buyers want proof she's real. They'll pay triple for a live one. Before Lena could react, the 2 men activated the cage. It expanded into a sphere of light that snapped shut around her. She cried out as sparks wrapped her body, the glow in her skin flickering violently. Stop it, Raj shouted, but Arif just smirked. The cage drained the energy from her. Raj could feel it, his own connection dimming as Lena weakened. The blue veins under his skin faded, and the light from the pillar began to flicker. Reef, you'll kill everyone, Raj yelled. You have no idea what you're doing. I know exactly what I'm doing, Reef said coldly. You 2 opened the door. I'm just walking through. Raj clenched his fists, pain searing through his arms as the threads still connected him to the grid. He focused, trying to push power toward Lena. The current resisted, wild and chaotic, but he forced it anyway. The lights above them flared. The cage vibrated violently, and a thin crack appeared in its surface. Lena looked up at him, her voice weak but clear. Raj, listen. The vent is accelerating. You have to finish the splice. I can't without you. He said. Double quotes. Yes, you can, she whispered. The grid listens to you now. Raj took a deep breath and reached into the light. Electricity flooded through him, lifting him off the ground. Pain tore through every nerve, but he didn't stop. The broken conduits glowed brighter, one by one, until the whole chamber blazed like a miniature sun. The cage around Lena cracked open with a sound like thunder. She collapsed, barely conscious. Reef stumbled back, shielding his eyes. What are you doing? Raj's voice echoed, layered with static. Finishing what she started. He reached toward the final conduit, his body glowing with blue fire. The pillar responded instantly, sending streams of light through the entire grid. The red countdown flickered. 0 hours for minutes and 9 seconds. 0 hours for minutes and 8 seconds. Then the system spoke in a new tone: calm, neutral, alive. Reroute in progress. Human input accepted. Lena raised her head weakly. You did it. But Raj could feel something else. The current inside him wasn't stopping. It was spreading. Reef screamed something, but the sound was lost in the roar of energy. Lena crawled toward him, her eyes wide with fear. Raj, listen to me. If you don't disconnect, it'll burn you from the inside. He smiled faintly, his voice trembling. Then hurry. She reached for him, her fingers brushing his. The moment they touched, the world exploded into light. Cliffhanger when the light faded. The cage lay shattered. Reef was gone and Raj was still standing. But his eyes glowed silver now, and the hum of the grid matched his heartbeat. The silence that followed was heavy to heavy. The air smelled of iron and ozone, and the hum of the grid had gone from a wild roar to a deep, steady thrum, as if the earth itself was breathing again. Raj stood in the middle of the chamber, still glowing faintly blue, his eyes reflecting streaks of silver light. Lena slowly pushed herself off the ground, trembling. The floor around her was scorched where the energy had burst. When she looked up at Raj, for a heartbeat she didn't see a man at all. His body pulsed with light, small, rhythmic flickers racing beneath his skin like living veins. Raj, she whispered, you're still connected. He blinked at her, dazed. I can feel it. Everything. The grid, the lines, even the surface. It's alive. It's listening. That's not possible, Lena said softly. You're human. The system should have rejected you once the splice completed. Raj turned toward her. Maybe it didn't have a choice. Before Lena could respond, a sudden echoing clang filled the air. From the shadows at the far end of the chamber came footsteps, slow, deliberate, cruelly familiar. Arif stepped into the flickering light, his face streaked with grime, but his grin intact. In his hand, he held a small cube humming with red light, the same one that powered the containment cage. "Miss me?" he said mockingly. Raj's jaw tightened. "You should have run when you had the chance. Run." Arif scoffed. "Not a chance. Do you think I came all this way just to leave empty-handed? You just turned on something priceless." He pointed at Raj. "Whatever you are now, you're worth more than her." Lena stepped in front of Raj, her glow returning faintly. "You don't understand what you're holding. That cube connects directly to the fail-safe control. If you activate it, the vent will complete, everything will burn." Arif tilted his head. "Or maybe it will open the rest of this place. Let's find out." He pressed the cube. A harsh red light burst from the ceiling, spreading across the chamber like veins of fire. The ground shook violently. Warning symbols flashed in the air. "System override, core pressure critical." Raj staggered forward, grabbing the nearest cable. He's triggered the release sequence. Lena sprinted toward Arif, her movements too fast for the human eye. But the cube reacted. An invisible force hurled her back, slamming her against the metal wall. She cried out as sparks flew across her body. The faint silver light in her skin flickered, dimming like a dying star. "Lena!" Raj shouted. She struggled to rise. "The cage's energy is inside that cube," she gasped. "It's draining me again." Raj clenched his fists. The lights in the room flickered with his heartbeat. He looked at Arif, who was staring now, a hint of fear in his eyes. "You don't even realize what you're touching," Raj said, his voice carrying an unnatural echo. "You're not controlling it, it's controlling you." Arif hesitated. The cube's glow brightened in his hand, threads of red light crawling up his arm. His eyes widened in horror as the light began to sink into his flesh. "Wait, no, what's happening?" He screamed. Lena, weak but steady, whispered, "It's consuming him." The system sees him as a threat. Within seconds, Arif's body stiffened, his mouth frozen in a silent scream. The red light swallowed him completely, and then just like that he was gone. Only the cube remained, floating in the air, humming softly. Raj stared at it. "It's still active." Lena forced herself up. "If that energy spreads, it'll trigger the vent early. We need to shut it down, but I can't do it alone." He turned to her, his eyes glowing with that same silver fire she once carried. "Tell me what to do." She moved closer, her steps slow, every motion deliberate. "You'll have to use the connection between us. My systems were built with memory locks, codes that prevent me from remembering my origin. If we merge through the grid link, I might unlock what's hidden. And with it, the control phrase to shut this down." Raj hesitated. "Merge? What does that mean for me?" "It means," she said quietly, "you'll see what I was and I'll see what you are." Raj nodded once. "Then let's finish this." Lena placed her hand against his temple. For a moment, nothing happened. Then, a surge of light exploded between them, spreading through the chamber like dawn breaking through the dark. Raj gasped as visions flooded his mind, fragmented, rapid, beautiful. He saw a ship buried beneath the ice, not of steel, but of light. He saw men and women in white suits working beside beings with eyes like stars. He saw the ocean swallowing towers of metal, and a voice saying, "Hide her among them. When the fault fails, she'll remember who she is." Lena's voice echoed inside his head. "I remember now. I wasn't sent here to fix the grid. I am part of it. My creators made me to watch over your world, to keep it alive when your own systems failed. But they were betrayed. Someone tried to erase us. Someone human." The images slowed, replaced by one final scene: a younger Raj, barely a boy, standing in the middle of a storm, lightning flashing behind him. A woman made of light crouched before him, touching his cheek. "You'll forget this, little one," she had said. "But when the time comes, I'll find you again." Raj's breath caught. "That was you?" Lena nodded, tears glimmering in her eyes. "I saved you once. You saved me now." Outside, the red alarms turned white, shifting to a steady rhythm. "Pressure critical, 0 hours 6 minutes and 12 seconds. We still have time, Raj said. The control phrase, what is it? She looked toward the surface. It's not words, it's a pattern. You wrote it yourself years ago. When you were a child, I placed it in your memory so you could find me again. Raj frowned. How? The substation logbook, she said. The one you filled that night I pulled you from the flood. There's an entry that doesn't belong. A false alarm with a pattern of numbers, that's the key. Raj's eyes widened. It's in the control office. Miles away, Lena smiled weakly. Then we run. As they turned to leave, a low rumble shook the floor again. The walls split, spraying sparks. Above them, the sound of rushing water echoed. The tunnel's collapsing, Raj shouted. Lena grabbed his hand. There's an access path through the maintenance vents. It'll take us back to the lighthouse. Together, they sprinted into the narrowing passage. The lights above flickered red, then white, then red again. Raj could feel the grid's pulse sensing with his own heartbeat. Faster and faster. Behind them, deep in the core, the cube still hovered, glowing faintly, its hum growing louder, as if waiting for one final command. Cliffhanger. When Raj and Lena burst through the final tunnel into open air, they froze. The lighthouse stood ahead, but the sea had risen to its base, and on the rocks above, a dark figure waited. Arif was gone, but his voice came through the storm, speaking through the cube now floating in his place. You can't stop what's already awake. Asterisk. Waves crashed against the rocks like a warning. The sky above the lighthouse churned with black clouds that pulsed faintly red, reflecting the chaos below. Raj and Lena stood ankle deep in water, soaked, breathless. The taste of salt and metal thick in the air. On the cliffs above, a figure waited, shifting, flickering, neither fully human nor machine. Arif's body was gone, but his voice came from everywhere. The wind, the waves, the humming of the cube that now floated in midair like an angry sun. You should have let it vent. The voice said, this world doesn't deserve saving. Raj shielded his eyes from the light. You're not Arif anymore. No, the voice replied. Arif was small. Arif was greedy. But I am what the core created from him. The grid found its own survival. Lena stepped forward, her silver eyes blazing. You're not the grid. You're a parasite feeding on its fear. The cube pulsed brighter. Call it what you want, it said. But in 8 minutes, the vent completes. You can't stop it now. Raj looked toward the horizon, distant lightning flashing over the sea. Every few seconds, he felt a tremor under his feet. The ground breathing like something alive and angry. The grid's heartbeat was losing control. Lena turned to him. We need the control phrase. Raj nodded, pulling his soaked bag closer. Inside, protected by layers of plastic, was the old substation logbook, worn, stained, but intact. He flipped through the pages, his hands trembling, until he found it. A false alarm report written in his childlike handwriting. Here, he said. This one. I wrote it after the flood. Lena leaned in. The entry was simple, only 3 words. Power restored, okay. But the timestamp beside it repeated a strange number pattern for 977-413. Her eyes widened. That's it. She took the small humming device and pressed her thumb to its surface. It flared with light, projecting lines of data into the rain. This number, it's a sequence to open the main conduit. You'll have to feed it manually through the substation controls. Raj stared at the glowing tower ahead. That means going inside. The vent starts from below, Lena said. You'll need to reach the main panel before the pressure builds. I'll hold the grid steady from here. He hesitated. And if I fail? Her face softened. Then none of this will matter. Without another word, Raj ran toward the lighthouse. Each step splashed through the rising tide. The wind tore at his jacket, and lightning struck close enough to shake the ground. He reached the entrance and pushed inside, the air thick with the smell of rust and ozone. The control panel waited at the center of the room, lights flashing in angry red bursts. The timer on the main screen read 0 hours 7 minutes and 41 seconds. Come on, Raj muttered, slamming his hands onto the keyboard. For 977-413, nothing happened. He tried again. The screen flickered, then displayed, access denied, unauthorized human input. Raj groaned. Of course. Then, faintly, he heard Lena's voice through the storm outside, soft, fading. Use the connection, Raj. You're still part of it. He stared at his reflection in the screen. His eyes glowed faintly silver again. The link, yes, it was still there. He placed his palm on the console, closed his eyes, and let the hum of the grid enter him once more. Suddenly, the system recognized him. Lines of light ran up his arm, merging with the interface. The words changed. Access granted. Conduit override enabled. Outside. The ocean glowed blue as if lightning were trapped beneath the waves. Lena stood with her arms raised, her face tilted toward the sky. Sparks of energy moved across her body like living ribbons. The grid was feeding through her again, only this time she was guiding it, not resisting it. But the cube fought back. Arif's voice thundered through the air. You think you can control it? You are the fault. You were never meant to fix it. Lena's voice was calm but fierce. Then let's see which of us the grid listens to. The ground split with a deafening crack. Blue fire shot up from the fissures, coiling like serpents. Raj shouted over the noise, typing as fast as he could, pushing energy from his mind into the system. Sequence input. For 977 for 13. Confirm override. Confirmation required. He shouted, Lena, say it. Through the roar of the storm, she screamed the sequence aloud. The cube flared, spinning violently, its light turning blood red. Nitrogen monoxide. Arif's distorted voice bellowed. You can't erase me. Lena closed her eyes. I'm not erasing you, she whispered. I'm restoring balance. She pressed her hand over her heart and released everything. A wave of pure light exploded outward, bright enough to turn night into day. It surged through the water, the cliffs, and the town beyond, rolling across the land like a tide of fire and stars. Raj saw it coming through the windows, a wall of blue brilliance, and then felt nothing. When he opened his eyes, there was silence. The storm was gone. The sky above was clear, painted in soft pink dawn. The ocean had calmed, and the lighthouse stood untouched. The control panels glowed green, steady and peaceful. Raj stumbled outside, blinking at the light. The air smelled of rain and salt, but there was something else too, a faint metallic scent of ozone. Like the aftermath of lightning. Lena stood on the edge of the rocks, the rising sun behind her. Her body shimmered faintly, light pouring through the thin lines in her skin. It's over, Raj said quietly. You did it. She turned to him and smiled, but her eyes were dimming. We did it. The grid is stable now, but it doesn't need me anymore. He took a step forward, panic rising. What are you saying? The system only keeps what it requires, she said softly. My purpose is complete. Raj shook his head. No, you can stay. You're not human, she finished gently. But you are. You're the reason it worked. You gave the grid a conscience again. The wind carried her voice like a whisper. Remember, I kept my promise to that little boy in the storm. And now I keep it again. Before Raj could stop her, Lena stepped forward into the waves. The water glowed around her, bright, then brighter until her body dissolved into threads of light that drifted into the morning sky. Raj stood there for a long time, staring at the empty sea. In the stillness, the hum of the grid filled his ears one last time, a calm, steady rhythm that matched his heartbeat. Days later, when the officials arrived, they found nothing unusual. They called it a miracle that the power had restored itself after the storm. Only Raj knew the truth. Back at the control office, he opened the old logbook one final time. On the last page, written in neat handwriting he didn't recognize, were the words, "Maintenance check completed," by an unnamed electrician. Next to it, taped to the page, was a small piece of metal, smooth, silver, and faintly humming. Raj smiled through the quiet tears that blurred his vision. The grid slept again, and somewhere, in the soft electric silence of dawn, a whisper echoed through the current. See you when the lights fade again. Asterisk.